Hello and welcome to Live Coding Happy Hour for September 28th, 2018. I am Dave Slusher. I am joined with my colleagues Andrew Barnes and Chuck Tomasi. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are going to go into our weekend with a little bit of ServiceNow coding. So the high level abstract of this show is we're going to return to our favorite, my favorite app, Travel Tracker, which I have dusted off now that I have a colleague with whom to track travel.
And is traveling.
Was not the highest priority in the world when I was the only one in the team traveling. So we've dusted some of that off. And one of the things that was always on my wish list, it would be a nice visualization of what's happening on a map. And that seemed like a fun project. So I want to work on that today. So before we get into that, let us go around the horn and do our introductions. And let us start with Andrew.
All right. Well, hello, everyone. I'm Andrew Barnes. I'm a ServiceNow developer advocate. Going on a month now, just about. Been on the platform for 4 years. And just super excited to be here. Just did San Diego Dev Days, and we're going to be doing lots more in the future. But just happy to be here today and wrapping up the day the best way we can, which is live code and happy hour. And to you, Chuck.
Yeah, thanks. My name is Chuck Tomasi, Senior TPMM at ServiceNow. Been a customer for a couple of years, been with ServiceNow for about 8.5. So I've got about 10 years experience on the platform in one way, shape, or form or another, mostly focused on custom applications, integrations, and the platform in general.
All right, and I'm Dave Slusher, developer advocate and teammate with Andrew Barnes. Work for the developer program, developer.servicenow.com, ding. And several of us, Chuck and I, will see you if you are at the Now Forum in Sydney, Australia.
Mm-hmm.
So he and I are off the table for next week. I'm not sure. It's up to Andrew what will happen next week. And then if you're around in, are you going to Auckland? You're also going to Auckland, right?
I am not. I'm going to Melbourne. So I'll be at the Melbourne developer meetup on the 11th, and then over to Munich on the 15th, and then Now Forum London on, what is it, the 17th, 18th? So that's my itinerary.
Yes, and so I'll be at, we will both be together at Sydney for the Developer Days and the CreatorCon there. I will be at the Auckland Developer Days. I will be doing a developer meetup in Bengaluru, India, and then I will meet everyone back in London. And so both of us are literally going around the world the long way. So
and then some.
Y'all are going around the world the long way. And if you didn't catch all of those things on developer.servicenow.com, if you hit that blog tab near the top, there's a post from earlier in this week or last week that details the events that we're going to be at around. And I'll add you to those, Chuck, so that we can have them all in one place.
Good idea.
And nice plug. That was sweet. All right. Now, before we get into this, let's also go around for the second most important aspect of the details. Let's get our beers, starting with Andrew.
All right. So I have an Edinburgh by Brewprint. Nice little umlauts on the U there. And this is a Scotch ale.
Like Motley Crue. The Edinburgh makes it sound like it's a cross between Edinburgh and Iron Brew. Have you ever heard of Iron Brew? that orange soda kind of thing is supposed to be good for hangovers, but I never tried it.
Yeah, he's got a cool looking dog on there. Like, it's a little hard to see.
Scotty with a
star
pattern. Yeah. All right. I've got the AleSmith Nut Brown Ale. I've had this a few weeks ago. It didn't agree with me then, and I'm hoping it's better now.
All right. And I've got from the same set of stuff I got almost at random. I got Redhook Bicoastal IPA. Not the biggest IPA guy in the world, so I always am kind of looking around for ones that kind of ring my bell. The Sculpin, the Habanero Sculpin is like my favorite of all time. So we'll see how I like this one. So anyway, with that said, let's get a little bit into the background of what we're doing today. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the share.
All right.
And let us. Boop. Oh, goodness. All right. So I'm going to do share. And then it's going to be a matter of getting the right stuff onto the screen. Hold on one second. Well, I'm having a problem with a window that's way bigger. I don't know if you guys do this. Like all my monitors are different sizes and different resolutions. So I
And when
drag
you
it and
slide it over to another one, it's
it's
not an appropriate
way too
size.
big, and it's like not. It shows nowhere basically, except a tiny little sliver. All right, here we go. And let's get this. I don't want my messy desktop to stress people out, which frankly I haven't. I just realized I haven't seen that desktop in a year and a half. There's always something in front of it. All right. And I'm going to go ahead and get rid of a few bits of testing code here. So on background of what I've done is, let's go ahead and I started on share. So let me hold on one second. Let me hit my button on my camera. Turn that off. Where's the button? Stop my video. All right. So I started. I looked around and I said, okay, there's a thing on share that's the Google Maps now. So let's start here. Now, I had a little bit of a hesitation because you'll notice this was put up in the Helsinki era. I said, okay, well, let's just see what happens. So I downloaded it, ran the update set on my employee instance, which already hosts all of this stuff, and it worked flawlessly. Thus far, I have not seen any problems with it.
Sweet.
So very nice. Fabio Petito, thank you for that. This has several citations to external things. Like so the Google Maps API, ngmap, JS map label. Those are all in the update set. So all those, like I literally ran the update set and it started working. So I haven't touched any of this stuff.
That's pretty great. And
yeah.
And there's some other really great content on share.servicenow.com, which you can also get to by just going to the developer portal and hitting share.
And in fact, I'm gonna go ahead and rate this while we're here. Clearly, I have not rated anything on the new share because I don't know what I do.
I think that's the cumulative.
Is that the cumulative
down below.
I think you have to scroll down to rate it yourself.
There you go.
Thank you, Fabio. We use this on Live Coding Happy Hour. You're famous now.
Worked first time on Live Code Happy Hour and London.
All right. So now you'll see when I pop this open, it's actually not working, but that's because I put some janky code in the controller just as testing some stuff out. Let me go ahead and comment out. I had some test code just to see how some stuff works. So I'm going to go ahead and how's the size, guys, on
not too bad. I'd try one more size up.
One more size up. All right.
Let's see if it destroys the UI.
Yeah. Oh, did I do the whole thing or just that one? I think I just.
That's weird. Yeah, I just did the one.
I just did the developer console.
I didn't know you could do just one.
Okay.
That's better.
All right. So I just did some weird stuff to. I'm gonna get rid of this, and I should have maybe kept it a little closer to stock before I started this. So the let me return this guy to close to completely stock. So this I have been fooling around with some code here in the controller to make this work. And so I just had some test code. Let's go ahead and if I save this, are we back to stock? What it should do, and it may be, I don't know if it's doing some history. So I'm going to do a full page reload. What it should do is show just the default information that's in there. And not doing it. I think we're
your little slider that says nan to nan.
Yeah, I can see that it's actually going. Well, yeah, this is. We'll do this in a little bit.
Okay.
I can see. I did enough geomapping in an earlier world that I can tell what we're looking at here. Is when you drill down, you're looking at latitude 0.000. Like off the coast of Mauritius. Where's the place where all the ships are alleged? Mauritius. That's where 00 is pretty close to that. So I screwed all that stuff up when I was doing something with this. So in fact, I can see over here, I've got an unmatched. Oh, I can see the problem.
Aha.
Unmatched.
You commented out a
commented
little
too
too
A
far.
much.
little too far.
What did I?
Now that one's complaining.
I think what I did was I commented the right amount of down here, but I also killed my bracket. And now we should be fine. All right. And if I do that, what we should see, I think, is the default data. That's the default data we want to
That's the
see,
default data.
which is pretty easy to notice if you're
Your ServiceNow. If you know your ServiceNow offices.
you know your ServiceNow offices. We're looking at Lawson Lane to Eastgate Mall Boulevard. So I thought that was a cute little touch that he's actually got this in the widget options. So if there's data, it'll use it, and otherwise it'll just do this. So quite literally, and let me show you. Let me turn everything else off for a second. I'm going to show you the HTML template for this. Bearing in mind that I added the slider to this. This is that's the HTML template for this widget.
I think that wins a prize.
Yeah.
ng map. And so that does all this stuff. So unlike a lot of things where it has a lot of configuration, that configuration exists, but it's not in the Angular template. It's over here in the client script. And so it has a fair amount of stuff in here, setting this up. So you can see there's modes and there's all this information in here that's getting set up to generate markers. So there is quite a considerable bit of logic, but it's not in the, none of that is exposed to the Angular template. So, down in here, he's getting his options data, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So we'll look over here for 1 second. And in his share, he's got basically the JSON packet that drives this.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can see from the outside, you've got a data, then you've got mode, location, and really location just is the label for the first thing in there. Location, destination, zoom, and then you've got the markers. Now, what I really want to do is just get some, before we get all tricky and everything, I want to just get some of my actual data on the screen.
Okay.
So here's what I have done up to this point is I've got over here in my fantastic, and it has the size on this. Is it about right or is it too small? I was talking to Andrew about all the script includes I have in Travel Tracker, and you'll see how many, I've got one for cars, I've got one for flights, I've got one for every integration, et cetera, et cetera.
I think it could benefit by one step in, and if possible, just collapsing the.
Collapse this. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, no, let's do it.
Up above. There you go.
Yeah. Okay. So what I've got down here is I've got a get active flights for widget, which just loops through the flight table, looking for everything with the active flag on. It orders them by start time, and then I do some magic to just bundle them up into JSON. So for each one of these things, it's creating a flight JSON object with a start time and end time, an origin, and a destination. And I really only have 3 pieces of information in both origin and destination. I have the airport code, the latitude, and the longitude. So I'll get fancier later, but now we've got a JSON object that is an array of these things. Okay, so that's returned from the script include. Over here in my server script, I was playing with this, and it was in fact doing the right thing, sort of the right thing. In that, if I save this, and let me hide this for right now, you'll see 16. I think that's the correct number. So I'm adding into the data object the flights. Kill this.
The flights array.
The flights array. So I did actually do that. Now here's something. I think I was having a brain fart as I was getting ready for this, and I think I was just. And so we're going to go over here. So let's move this. So Chuck does not have to look at that distressing. A distressing man, which I'll admit I don't love. But when we look at the actual flight data, we're going to see something that's going to make everyone laugh. I'm saying there's a Easter egg that's going to make everyone laugh when you see it, and I'm not going to billboard it any more than that.
You can drive to the UK.
You'll just see something that will make you laugh. Okay, so this was just as a test of the slider. is I wanted to make sure, and here's where I think I'm going to have to kill the console. I like to always have the console open so that I see
Yes.
errors, but I just don't have it at the real state at the zoom level. So I just wanted to test. This is RZ slider, and I'm going to be frank. I need somebody probably to look on another instance. I don't remember if this is provided on a baseline instance or if I added this to my employee instance. But it's to the RZ slider, which I believe I've killed it, but it's I got it up on GitHub. So it's just an Angular 1 slider, and I feel like probably I added it to this instance because I think I maybe have used this before. But I just wanted to check, and a lot of things it does where you give it a high, low, a ceiling and a floor, and it fills in. But you can also pass it
for like the employee rating or something. We were doing sliders for
could very well be.
Yeah.
And I just don't remember. There's Bootstrap slider that I know comes with the baseline instance, but I don't remember if this one does too or if I added it. So I would have to go look at an untouched one. And you guys talk amongst yourself. I realize I haven't even opened my beer. I need my mouth is already dry.
The hazards of being the presenter.
Yeah. So just a little bit about this app is the purpose of it is to share the flight notifications and interactions with like another team member. So when Chuck and Dave and I are all meeting up in London from different flights and different destinations, from different points, we can keep track of where the other one is and, set off alarm bells if we need without having to ourselves do a lot of communication. We have, computers and automation for that.
And the intake method is really nice because you send the same agendas you'd send to TripIt or Tripcase or whatever your favorite travel tracking site is. We've got libraries that digest that and make sense of the records also. So that I love that part.
Yeah, this is in those scripting. Well, it went away, but WorldMate actually is the API that I'm using, and it has a nice webhook. It calls me basically with the parsed itinerary. And so there's a bunch of integration and et cetera. And by the way, don't tell me that the products already exist. We know the existence of other things. We're doing this partly for fun and partly because
learning.
Partly for learning. And there are so many. This is like a really fun. I'm not building this because there are not alternatives in the marketplace. I'm building it because I want to build it. So like ultimately the idea here is that we'll get this data in here, and then we can scrub this forward and say, show me who's where at what time. That's what I want to be able to do. That's what this is all about.
Crossing the fourth dimension.
So like, I have the ability, I have in the data model of this is I've got this notion of a generic place. And I have actually some generic stuff that's not really being used to the full extent, but like an airport, you'll see, I've got this kind of object-oriented, like former Java programmer mindset in a lot of this stuff. Like an airport is a place and a hotel is a place. And so I have the ability to, ultimately, like I'd like to be, and, so I could graph places, et cetera, something like that. I can say, okay, what's the place you will be at a future time? So that's kind of where I'm trying to get to. I've got some challenges like, your default place is your home or your office or whatever office you work out of. And so there's some of that. But for now, all I really want to do is see some flight endpoints on a map. So, and so this is just to show you, this is like building a array of August.
That's building your slider, right?
And then I just added a couple arbitrary things. So you'll see it goes from August 1 to 31, and then it has a couple random dates, just making sure that I can put an arbitrary array on here and get those values on here. Okay. That's all that is. So that's for the slider. Before we do anything else, I've got my JSON object. I think what I want to do is just put every bit of the flights on here all at once, and they'll just overlap everybody.
Sure.
So what I want to do then is get this. I need basically this JSON packet. So I'm going to assemble this, and I'm going to basically loop through, and it won't necessarily make sense because essentially I think it's going to, I don't have any way unless I do, actually, I think I can. You have two modes. You have this driving or you have this map. And I think map will just do dots on it.
I was going to
So
say,
what-
yeah, the driving instructions, you
And it doesn't
aren't gonna be
actually-
practical for overseas, but
Yeah, it says driving, but really that doesn't really mean that we're showing turn by turn directions. It really just means that it's drawing.
it's
Well,
staying
actually,
on roads.
you'll notice actually that line actually
It
is.
is like
It's
following
not a.
roads.
Yeah, it's not a
Yeah.
crow flies road.
Right.
If in fact, what we could do, I think, if I can find the option data, let's change this to map,
Yeah, if you change that to that, it should just be the 2 dots then, right?
and then if I
When you
reload
reload
this,
it.
it should just be endpoints.
With
Let's see
no
what
line?
that does. Oh,
Ah.
look at that.
And let's see, do we have a
I
second?
don't. Yeah, I kind of don't. Yeah, see, nah, I don't like that.
No.
We'll leave it as driving, even though it doesn't make a lot of sense, and it may actually freak out when we start going overseas. But we'll just leave it like that for now, and then I may have to go in and do some hacking of this actual widget
Okay.
to see. And I don't even know, like, if Google Maps has a mode. Actually, Andrew, if you don't mind, could you Google if there's a flight mode in Google Maps?
I certainly will.
Try it. Just put it in flight or flying. These all seem to be verbs: walking, driving, bicycling.
This is, but see, there's got to be a Google Maps travel mode. It's basically setting an enum.
Oh, okay.
So I would match the Google Maps travel mode enum. I don't even know where that's coming from. I don't know if he's. That's probably from Google Maps direction service, et cetera, et cetera. So somewhere in here in Google World, that's where all this stuff comes from. So I don't know that you can't just put an arbitrary thing in there. So what I'm going to do now is I've got my splat of JSON, and so let's just start. I think I might have to detach this from the screen. See if I can get both of these on. Actually, I'm going to put this on an external screen, and so I'm going to come over here, and I'm not going to worry about anything other than just getting this on there the first time. So I'm just going to graph everything. See options. If options. So what I want to do is data location destination. So I want to take the markers. Is markers in his thing down here?
Yeah.
Not.
He had a marker. Oh, yeah.
That was
he had
in
markers object, an array of markers.
Yeah, but right here where he said options value, data values, see data, data, location, destination, zoom, mode, route.
Yeah, and so there is not a flight mode.
Yeah, so we'll
driving,
figure this out.
walking, bicycling, transit.
Okay, location is data location, destination is data destination, zoom, et cetera, and let's double check here. So if data dot location. So actually, I wonder if I'm maybe not doing this the wrong way. If I maybe want to do this in the server script so that it's just in the data. So I could do this. I've got this list of flights over here from my script include. So I could actually just set this over here. And let's even just take, let's just take flight 1 and flight 2. Or, like elements 0. Let's just take it flight 0 and just try to put it on there.
Okay.
So just to bar flight equals flights. And this, I believe, Andrew, will be one of yours because I got it sorted by date. We actually we had a brief discussion. It's like, so we're not leaking API keys, but we are leaking actual flights that actual humans thing are either have been on or will be on.
But I'm okay. Even American Airlines is confused on what flight I'm on today.
And so the location, destination, and so I'm looking. What I'm going to do, actually, so I'm just going to render. Here's what I'm going to do for right now, because really, my standards are extremely low on this one. I just want to see something on the screen. That is var. So I'm going to get his packet. And so location, you can see actually he's pulling exactly this stuff. And you know what? That's I don't even need this because that's the data object that he's dereferencing. So I'm gonna make a educated guess that I'm already one to granular if I put the data, because I think that's that. So mode is driving. And I'm just gonna, the location is really just the thing. I'm just gonna leave that blank. And I'm gonna leave, let's just say start and end, just so we see something in there. And for markers, label. I think break area. Yeah, we'll leave that. I think that's actually telling it the thing. So now for the title, what I want is one of the things from I want flight dot origin dot now I've forgotten how I built this. I want origin dot code. Flight dot origin dot code. That is just an airport code.
Okay.
And for the lat, I want flight dot origin dot latitude. And I'm going to go ahead and throw a toString in here just to be safe.
Good idea.
I am not 100% sure exactly what we're going to get there, but let's make it a string. And let's do longitude. Okay. Now, and
Do you
everything
want a toString on the code as well, or no?
You know what? Why not? That will not hurt. I think it might be a no op, but I'm okay with doing that. So I'm gonna go ahead and copy those. So now down here, I forget which thing is which here. So title lat long, we're just gonna, and now we'll just change all the origins to destinations. And I did something, one extra comma. Are we good with that? All right, I'm gonna hit the button. Are we gonna see North Carolina here? That's what we want to see when I hit this button.
And you should always know what success is going to look like.
I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna pull this out of that because I'm gonna pull the default data out for right now.
Yeah.
I don't know. It seems like I thought I saw something that said if it's not there, if this other data is there, then use it preferentially. And let me, just for safety's sake, I'm going to go ahead and split this into Evernote in case I need to pull it back out.
Oh, the cautious developer. I love it.
I probably wouldn't do this if we weren't live on,
You get nothing, sir.
The map went away.
Oh, I know exactly why. Because what did I not do here? I assembled all the stuff into JSON.
Yeah.
You didn't pass it anywhere.
I didn't put it anywhere. Yeah, exactly. And you know, I've got this. Do I want data to just equal JSON? I think I do.
Yes, because the other one says data equals c.data.
That's probably why it was using my default data before.
We got a map now.
We're back off the coast of Africa.
Back off the coast of Africa. So it's not. Let's do something different. Instead of this, let's do.
Any issues in the console log?
Let's see. Yes. Cannot read property 2 lowercase of undefined at Google Maps now. 2 lowercase. That says that we probably
are missing some data. There's a 2 uppercase.
There's uppercase
in mode.
Data.mode.
We're not setting mode, right? But it should default.
Might
be erroring because we don't have it.
We've got mode right there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's
So,
there.
What it says is that may not be my original assumption about the level of where things are at. May have been wrong.
So why
That's-
don't you copy off your data over to the side, paste in the example default data, and see if that renders the right way?
That is an extremely good idea.
That'll tell you if it's the data or the format.
Right. If I have formatted it jacked up, that maybe I need to let me do it his way. I'm going to put his exact. We're going to put his exact this, including data and everything.
Right.
Yeah, right in there. That's.
Oh,
So there's nothing.
Okay. So with the data,
with the data, so
yeah, you
so
need to reference it as data.data or c.data.data or something on the client side.
And so I'm gonna pull one level out.
Okay, you got to get the other curly brace. You took out one curly brace. You got to take out the matching one.
Yeah, I understand.
That one, and then at the end, yeah.
All right, so now we backed it up, and this is what I thought.
That's what I was trying to do. Yeah.
That
unsuccessful.
Still not working.
Okay.
But you'll notice
no error.
We didn't get the errors.
Error. Data. So we've got a reference. Issue on exactly where this guy's getting his data. So and this is just down to formatting that JSON object that he wants. So
where does it load?
Location equals data location. So let's look data location.
Data.location.
So this seems to me like that should. So let's do.
Data.mode.
Do you guys know? Let's do a console.
So it's already doing a console log data. Why don't you run it once with the default and once without and see what the console log data is different?
I'm not seeing, but oh, is that what this is?
It's on line 126.
Line 126. Console log data. Oh,
yeah, he's looking for the output. Maybe a message client connection.
Is this it?
Doesn't look like it.
Two-string.
Yeah, you might need to make that bigger to find it faster. Clear it, run it again.
Yeah, let's do that.
Put a searchable console.log message before it. Hey, console.log, here's your data.
Here's your data. That's a really good idea, Chuck.
And you can search for it.
And you can search for me.
I will literally do that exact.
Like what I was doing this week. Ben would say, you could type anything there. I said, okay, I'll type.
Here is your data. So, okay, so this is the data object.
Okay.
I guess I've never
look like what you'd expect. I've never looked at one closely. Where's the mode driving and whatnot? I mean, obviously it's missing because you wiped out your flights.
Yeah, but I think I may have caused it to type by doing something.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead. Oh no, I want to do that.
Yeah.
Let's leave that, but let's leave this data, this reference to data there, and let's just see if that does anything to it.
You think?
No.
No.
Okay. That was a hope against hope. Okay, so here is your data. And so
an empty objects prototype chain is what Corey says.
An empty object. So how is this not an object? I mean, should this not be the data? Should this not be the JSON object?
So what is on 121 in your client script? You've got data values, and then you're mapping that to data.
Let's look over in his thing. He's got this data values, which is C data.
Yeah.
So basically, he's got like a reference to everything that came from the options and everything that came from the data. And I think if this is where, if the data is empty, then he's using the option stuff. Something about that. Let's get rid of that for a second.
So it looks like, is it possible that we need to be doing data values? And that's what gets set to data?
Data equals data.data. Look at line 119.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we do.
I think you do need a data object inside of your data object.
All right, then.
Unless I'm reading that wrong.
All right, so I'm going to go back to his untouched.
Yep. Paste his back in there.
We're back to stock.
That'll tell you what the data structure needs to look like.
But
none.
This is where having the, so this would be, we could either do a bunch of console logs down here. In fact, maybe this is worth console logging this. Let's do let's do that and just see what
Need
we
to plus it. Plus.
Boop, 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 boop. I've got this all messed up. Okay, let's do that. And let's see if we see something that looks anything like. Here is your data. Oh, let me clear it and do it again.
Mm-hmm.
Here's your data.
Did it not get into that if?
It didn't even get into this if.
Okay.
If option value, so I think this is our issue. If option values.json settings undefined to do this, else
use data is from data value. Well, else if data value is undefined.
Well, let's go ahead and do this. Oh, so okay, so the data.data is, oh, you know what? We're that's parsing the options value. That's exactly
you're
what
right. You're right. That's where it's getting the defaults.
Let's just call this. So it should be coming through that. That's what we expect, is it to come through this half of the loop. I should have cleared that, but I didn't. Data is this object. Oops. Ugh. And it's just not, yeah, so it's just an object.
Okay. So where is data values being set above that? Data under values is coming from where?
Yeah. Where's data values coming from?
Values is C data. So that should be the data object
that you built
coming from here. Yes.
Why isn't it?
That I don't know. So this is where I need Fabio to help me a little bit. So we do this. We think if we take out the data, we think this should be right. But it's not doing it. And I'm going to go ahead and let's do, if I've got the object, what's the plain JavaScript JSON to JSON? It's like basically JSON encode. Is it JSON stringify?
Stringify.
Corey says you can just put a comma in there instead of a plus, and you'll get the full object.
Okay. So let's do that. Console log data values. Data.
Because Corey's awesome.
Corey's really smart.
Data values. Let's see what
I wouldn't have done that if you paid me.
Yeah, I had no idea that console log could accept that.
And this is what we're getting from that.
That looks like an empty.
So how is that empty? Because we are literally forcing it to that.
Well, let's go up higher.
Okay, let me. So
right when we first get into the function and see what.
All right, let's back up and just go to way to first principles. Data equals.
Delicious cookies.
Anything equals something.
Yep.
All right. This looks to me like this should be something. All right, let's put our. Now I gotta. let's show this again so that we at least see. We clear my JavaScript. And we should get something. We should get a non-empty object. It may not be valid, but it should be non-empty.
Looks empty to me.
Looks empty to me.
Can we show me the client script? Is there anything happening before that?
That is an excellent question.
Is somebody mucking with our c.data?
Possibly. So, c.data. So we've got the data values.
First time it's used is at 107.
And then at G.
Which is technically the third line of code.
Yeah. See this.
Everything else is function definitions. We're not getting over the first hump.
Data.markers, data.location, location equals data. So basically this thing is like dereferencing the thing.
If it's using the data from the options, is that correct?
Well, it's dereferencing. Either way, it should be like this guy is like peeling off that outermost layer from the options.
For the options, but it doesn't need to if you're using actual data.
So by the time it gets through this, either one of these things should have what looks like to be
a data object,
that JSON object with like mode at the top level, location at the top level. But we're not getting that. And this is like not even, this is not widget stuff. This is pure.
And data values is getting set where? Can you just scroll to that?
Yeah, data values.
It was coming from the options.
C.data.
Okay, C.data.
Yeah.
So it does not look to me like I'm doing. So let's go ahead and just give it if I gave it location equals location and data dot, and let's find one of the other things it's looking for. Destination, data dot destination. This should be fulfilling that.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm going to do this and reload. So it may not. It's got nothing to display. But and this is line 103.
And that's where it's getting assigned.
Yeah, 103 is So it sees this. And let's go ahead and let's just console log. Location.
Is it possible that data's getting overwritten some other way and we need to?
Sure. That's certainly possible. Let's see.
I'm not clear where that might be happening, but
let me do this one more time since so this is interesting. I'm not seeing
values equals.
Oh.
Did you
right
see?
Here. If is empty data.
Okay.
Return. And my console log that I just put in here
didn't get there.
Data equals.
And data is empty at that point because we don't think that we're getting data values populated properly because our console log of data values is saying have an empty object.
If is empty data. Now let's look at his is empty key for key if has own property key return false. This is some JavaScript stuff that I'm not. So here is your data. So it's bailing on thinking
something back in the default and see if we get past that point.
Okay. So let's go ahead.
Because then it would be populating from the default.
Right. Okay. So let's see. Let's clear this. Let's save this and see what happens.
You mean the options default?
Yeah.
Well,
the option.
so yeah, this is his splat is back in here. But here's your data, and then we're getting the data, but we're not getting the location. So it is empty from the perspective of this thing. It is empty at this point. So c.data is empty as far as that thing is concerned. Am I doing something incredibly dumb in this server script? This looks completely normal to me.
I almost be tempted to go to line 104 and do my console log on c.data.
Let's do that.
You should have something right there.
Console log c.data. Let's just do that. And we'll do Corey's trick. C.data.
You should have something there.
Something should be in this. C.data, and if we split it open. All right, here, this I think is indicative of the problem. C.data has nothing in it, despite looking completely ordinary to me.
We're populating data in the server script.
Well, how about c.flu or flights? Like,
those are not going to pass through because only things that are added to data are going to pass to this other end. C.data.
There's no other errors like, hey, you didn't declare this or something.
I don't see that, but so here's okay. All right, we're gonna go back to this.
That's like,
and we're gonna do this.
Okay.
Options. All right. Now it should be empty at this point. Actually, I'm gonna do it one more time because I didn't clear. So if we go up here, we should have c.options, and we see some stuff in there. And c.data is completely empty.
Dun, dun, dun.
Head scratcher.
This is widget building 101. What did we miss?
All right. The silliest possible thing.
I was just reading that and going, why don't we try that?
One of my unbegun comment. Oh. What do you mean, dude?
What's it barking about?
I don't understand that one. Unbegun. Oh,
there
you go.
Oh, because start of a.
Oops.
All right. Cannot read property. So now we got an error. At 1:15.
We're back where we were.
Data.table. And let's.
There's your data object table null.
So something's in there this time.
Right.
Okay. So now
we were property with no value. Yeah. Driving.
How could this possibly?
You'd expect the editor to give you some error if it was a malformed object.
So now, see, we got the thing.
Yes.
Now
there's something wrong with that definition. Maybe.
All right.
And I know we've passed arrays and objects of arrays through data before.
Is this literally down to simply the Is this literally down to did I reload this? Down to the format of how we're doing that JSON object?
And Corey suggests maybe stop using the variable name data.
It's a pretty terrible all right. It looks to me like maybe my whole browser is frozen.
Uh-oh. Bad timing.
Let's go ahead and kill that whole tab. Uh-oh.
It's angry.
This is bad news. All right. This may be the end of the show right here. This portion of the show. I literally cannot even
kill the tab there.
Can't kill the tab. Yikes. Can I kill this tab? All right, we're gonna go nuclear. Yikes.
Force quit Chrome.
Yeah, I think that's where we're at.
That's the next one.
All right.
Good thing Dave's not doing the broadcasting today.
Yeah.
Yeah. You think it's funny when I can't find the button. What about when the button's not even operating when I try? Huh. So this is now this is yet another thing where none of this is at all the problem I thought we were going to have.
Yeah, we didn't get to the interesting time zone and date problems.
Yeah, all that stuff. Literally, it was down to the JSON object wasn't what we thought it was when we gave it a JSON object. So knowing now that it was going to do that, we could actually walk up and build the thing. I mean, we probably could have built the thing with the live data in the amount of time that we've been farting with this, but we just didn't. I think I was kind of taken aback that didn't work. So
the YouTube chat's getting sassy now too.
Oh,
it could be that Google Maps crashed or the world no longer
exists.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
so I'm going to go ahead.
Control, I'm gonna go ahead and Command Escape to force quit it.
I don't know. I'm basically done with that. All right. I'm not. We've been fighting Jason. Now I'm literally fighting Chrome. I'm ready to stop fighting. I'm gonna take a swig. I'm gonna take a swig in defeat. So ultimately, this is going to be one that bothers me on Friday night. So this is going to be one where I go and figure out what. So if I went back, and so I formatted my object from the ground up. So I had mode equals whatever, location equals, lat equals, long equals, because I have all that data in there, just waiting to be used. If I build it that way, do I actually see the thing that I think I'm going to see? This does suggest to me a couple things. One of which is I guess I didn't realize from looking at this before we went on the air is I didn't realize that my only option was to plan out the Google Maps route. To have basically say Google Maps, get me from here to there, which is not what I want for a flight. So now the question is, am I going to want to do something different than that? Am I going to want to either not use this widget or find a different mode that says, okay, given these 2 points, I literally just want the great circle line.
Well, do you need a line from A to B? Because isn't the point to say where is Andrew and Chuck and when are Andrew and Chuck going to be in the same place at the same time? Don't you just want? Could say
you're at all of these places at some point on that day.
Right. So as you scroll, it's going to jump from Australia and New Zealand and then all of a sudden we're all in London. As you take your slider and move it along, I would expect to see those pins sort of jump around the world.
Well, and the transit option might actually contain the flights. I just wasn't sure from the API documentation that mode.
And that is a thing to that is a thing to look at is is there something in that Google Maps API that we can leverage?
I mean, I would try transit and it might do flights because Google Maps does have a sense of flights. It just isn't clear in the API that transit will use flights.
Okay. So this is one of those things where, long ago, when I first, I cannot to this point remember when I started doing this, 2.5 years ago or something, whenever I started doing this, it was, I started collecting all the data, the latitude, longitude, really and truly, not because I have up to this point had any actual direct need for it, but it comes from the API. When you look up a airport, all the APIs have that in there. I'm like, this seems like I might need it. So I've got that. I actually there was a time period where I was in between APIs, and I think I've mentioned this before, is that the number of external integrations, there's been like 10 different ones for 3 things. It's just that I've had service after service. I'm on my third different itinerary parsing API. I've got 2 different flight APIs, and in playing to the strengths, there's 2 of them: flight stats and flight aware.
Mm-hmm.
And flight aware is the one that gives me better, richer information about the airports. Both of them do both. Both of them do real time and information about flights and airports and things like that. But I like the flight aware airport better. And I was going to switch everything to flight aware, and I realized I don't like their real time. I don't like their webhook. And I love the flight stats webhook is easier to deal with. So I'm literally using both APIs, using the part I like out of both APIs, which on one hand is kind of ridiculous because
ridiculous
neither of these are
and
free.
great. Like, I'll just do both and take from each the best.
Now I'm writing $5 checks to 2 different APIs, at basically twice the cutoff whenever I get to that minimum billing threshold on each of them. So but there was a point where that information actually came in. I believe it was flight stats was not telling me the time zone. But if you look in my many script utils, there's a integration to a thing called Timezone DB that you can give it coordinates, and it will tell you the time zone of that coordinate. That's literally all it does. Give it any map, any global point, and it'll say, okay, that is, Asia, India standard or whatever.
Okay.
So now I don't need that anymore because FlightAware actually just tells me, and it gives me that ISO time zone string in it. So, so this is actually the first time I now have a real use for that. And so now I'm gonna have to put this on the list and tinker with it. But so your idea, guys, I think if I can do the transit with the flights, I will do that. If I can't, I will just put a bunch of pins. The next step beyond just that would be to have like a set of colors so that one set of pins is one person.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Yeah. Either that, or I'll tell you what would really be boss is
you can put labels on pens.
Put the labels. I think you can put little icons on. So get the picture out of Surf.
Yeah, get the picture out of the Surf. Put a label on
and then
it,
put the picture next to the pin. Stuff like that. Yeah. That's like for right now. If I actually see my actual live flight information on the thing, that will make me happy. Which is what I hope to see this time.
Little Dave icon floating across.
So this is one of those things where I think like once we get past whatever stupid problem we're at, I think actually the rest of the stuff will go really fast. It's just the most basic thing of like filling the data object. I'm like, I do not know. Also, the other way of thinking about this is I don't think I've ever assigned it to data outer braces in this way. So I don't know if there's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've only ever been building it field by field.
Yes.
And I think
it might be a step up or something.
There's something in there, and I don't know at a JavaScript level. I don't know why that should be different, but I think there is something different. And I think the deal, and it has something probably to do with some polymorphic something. We're making it a different thing.
Well, it may already be pre-populated with something. Data already has something in it, and you're just adding a field, adding an array, adding another field, and if it's already got something and you go and say, no, it's this object, you blew away.
Yeah, I think
that makes it work.
Yeah, I think the type of data may not be hash table or whatever it is when and so that may be what broke the service portal magic. What you could then do is just bury it a level deeper and call it data.data, and then when you get to the client script, instead of saying data equals c.data, you say data equals c.data.data. And I think if I did that, probably that would have done that. And like you said, just unwound it just the same way he did in the options. If I had done that, probably we could have saved 40 minutes. This thing. Well, this is a great exploration.
That's part of the part of the reason we do this, right? Is
I did not know
problems head on.
Yeah, I did not know assigning outer brackets to the data object was a problem. It was good. This would be so. This is
That's good to know.
Well, this is a thing I'm going to follow up with the service portal team to see is this actually a well-founded thing, or did we do something else weird? Because if this is a thing that actually changes it, then future blog posts because again. Principle of least surprise was violated here.
Yeah.
because that was a surprise to me. I did not expect the behavior that we got. So, if nothing else, that's worth knowing. So, all right, let us go around the horn.
Let's go around the horn. Yeah.
Andrew.
So, this Scotch Ale Edinburgh, 325.
Good, but not great.
Good, but not great.
Okay.
And I think
the AleSmith Nut Brown Ale. I'm gonna go with the 325 also. It's not thrilling me this afternoon. Good, but not great.
Well, guess what? I'll just to peer pressure. Sorry, you lost you guys there for a second. I'm going to go 325 with this bicoastal IPA, which I don't hate and I don't love.
But we're not making amazing choices.
The coding was, 325 would be generous for the results of the coding.
Yeah.
325 on all the beers. There you go.
But it's Friday afternoon, and that raises everything a little bit.
So
right.
next week, plus a few days, we should see a few of you in Australia. And like we said, the itinerary is up on ServiceNow developer blog, developer.servicenow.com. Click the blog link. You'll find that up there. And then Andrew is in charge for the next couple of weeks, and then the main group will meet you back in 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
Yeah, and you can keep track of us. We'll still be doing some blog posts and updating things, but we'll be doing a bit of traveling and hope to see a lot of you in person.
Looking forward to it.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Check you next time. Don't forget you got the button, my brother.
Yeah, don't just walk away there.
I think he was going to the button, but pressing the button is the hardest.